in our 68 years, what are the milestones that we have achieved in the Indian education system?
I think wider access, and people who would not previously have gone to universities have gone to universities, and the number of universities has grown. Some of the IIT, IIMs have achieved good quality, but by and large it is quantity rather than quality in which we have made progress.
Okay. The top 3 challenges that the Indian education system faces from the private sector and the public sector.
I think obviously improvement of quality, improvement of access, and providing more resources into the system.
Okay. There has been a lot of talk about tie-ups with foreign universities and bringing that kind of quality into the Indian education system. Are these necessary, and how much will they help the system?
I think, obviously it's a way of providing for a gap in the system which cannot improve quality fast enough by itself. Shorten the time. If you get in these outside people, and if they can provide the skills, that it speeds up the improvement of quality in the system. Obviously, they will create a high fee sector like our private sector, but they may be better quality than the Indian private sector provision.
Exactly. So in your first answer, you mentioned that we have managed to get quantity and not quality. Is there a 1, 2, 3 step to bring in quality into the Indian education system?
Now, I think one of the things is that the quality takes time to build up, first of all. Secondly, we have to go back to teacher training institutions.
Okay.
As a background provider, provision of more equipment, better classrooms, better computer systems, things like that. So it is ultimately a question of putting more resources into the education budget. And there you're finding primary, secondary, and higher education. So what priority do you give to higher education? Which is why I believe that the people who go to higher education should be asked to provide more money. The fees should be higher. I know people will not like it, but I think some of the better off people are getting away with a very cheap education. They ought to be made to contribute more.
What is the long-term focus today that both public and private sectors should have if they talk about Indian education system 20 years down the line?
Well, knowledge is changing very fast. The technology of delivering knowledge is changing very fast. We have also the online things happening. So universities are getting obsolete quite fast. For universities to stay meaningful, they have to constantly improve quality and catch up with increasing knowledge. So the big challenge for India is, if India wants to stay at the top of the game in the economy field, then it will have to improve the quality of its educational system faster than it has been doing in the last 60 years.
Okay. So last question, you have the American education system and you have a large section of students that choose not to go to college because of the high university fees. The quality is very good, but the fee is very high. And then you have systems like those in India. Which one do you think has a more long-term future? Because the American education system is being highly criticized in the recent elections.
Now, you see, in the American system, you have to understand, only the Ivy League colleges are expensive. There's a variety of provision in the American system, like 2-year junior colleges, state colleges, and so it is not that it's all Harvard, Yale, Stanford. The important thing is different people want different kinds of education. Different people want education over a different time horizon. So the thing is, a consumer-oriented system in which the student can go in, choose what he wants to do, what she wants to do, at what pace, how soon, transferable credits, flexibility in combining arts and science and technology, making sort of degree not in terms of final exam, but so many credits acquired over. If we do things like that, then we will be able to give the person taking education a much better way of choosing what they want to do, rather than put them in silos and pack them in for 4 years, which is a recipe for failure.
Okay, and is that how you have just described the Indian education system?
Well, yeah, in a sense, it is, when you actually see the outcome of some of these people holding degree certificates, you want to cry. They can barely read and write. I tell you, I've seen it. They can professors can barely write. I had to interview them, and they were applying for professorship. They were professors at Indian universities. They could not write a single page of application correctly. It is just. So forget about that. There are very, very good people. There are, in a large country like this, even 1% getting to the top, it's just quite a lot of people. So, but I think the real thing is, how do we improve the average?
Okay.
You have to bring the average up, not the top. The average has to be brought up. The Satya Nadellas will be Satya Nadellas forever. We have to look after all the other people. And so this is where I think it's very important that we improve the quality of the average education in the system.